Welcome everybody to our language gym, where we have fun, where we speak our languages, and where we get to use the things that we have learned uh, up to now in completely different ways, creative ways, while at the same time thinking about what we see, what our perspective is, what we know, and how we're going about our ways, our learning. So, on that note, hello, Hayan, Jasmina, Ruth, Sarah, Stephen, and Wendy, Zenaida. Long time don't see
Hello,
Stephen and
everyone.
Wendy. And Ruth, every once in a while, she pops in.
She does. She does.
Oh,
She,
no, Saphira. I correct
yes.
myself.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
Saphira pops in too once in a while. Thank you.
so I was thinking for today, our topic would be discernment of the thoughts and when a thought is coming from the mind and when it's coming from the heart. And how do each of you uh, figure this out? What in a thought allows you that discernment to say, that sounds like it's my mind coming up with that. Oh, this is my heart coming up with that. Because I think sometimes it's a challenge. It's a challenge to figure out who's doing the talking. Um, because even sometimes when it comes from the heart, it's a difficult choice that you have to make. So you resist the choice that the heart is telling you because it's very difficult, and the mind says, "Nah, that sounds too hard to do." Um, so you talk yourself out of it because if you think of it, oh, what's the best thing for me? But sometimes the best thing for you, it's a hard choice. So, so I would like to know. You can tell me in your language, and then you can tell me in English how you go about that discernment. So, on that note, I will start with Ruth. Oh, Saphira. It's going to take me a little while, but
That's fine. Thank you very much. Okay, let me tune in here. Hashanakala hisha mino huhula kuno hashana hisha kitana halakala shihuna himahala shikana halama chikoko tu noho la mahana kana kinohala shinmaha hino tu hololo shikanya hala. The thoughts go inward, the heart goes outward. It is the simplest way to explain it. Our thoughts go to ourselves and how we are going to look and feel, and it is not entirely, but more or less centered on our survival ego. And when we are operating from our hearts, it is an energy which is going outward, and it is an inclusive energy of others. It is more an accepting energy of others. It is an energy where we feel included, and we do not have to constantly look in the mirror of others to see how we are being reflected or how others feel or things of that nature. Thank you.
thank you. Um,
Very nice, Sophia. Thank you.
yes.
You're welcome.
Wendy, would you like to go next?
Miyatakiana hashataku. Onahalani naka inanataki. Uhaya ananaka shananuata. Ihaya nahila nashaki. Ina himula hakasashana hila. Wahayitaki sanahitu. Miyataki ahi sataki nanotu. Ohala nahi miyatahisha nahitu. Wahakakiananata shiatu. Watakana halana nashato. Imahia hila hasakita kiananasha. The words come in not as words, but as feelings and emotions. Releasing beliefs. Feeling the knowledge within your hearts. Knowing that the emotion are the words and there are no words necessary.
Thank you. I was, wow, that was good. Thank
That
you.
was beautiful.
Thank you, Wendy.
I'm debating whether to have her go on.
I know I was trying to get it all, but you're right, there was more, but that's okay. We'll come
Yeah,
back.
that's fine. That's
We'll
fine.
come back.
Yeah. So it was saying that the emotions are the way to figure out who's doing the talking.
Yeah, that was the message that I was getting was that often there's words that come in messages and they're very clear to us that they're words and that they're words that need to be either spoken or written or repeated in some other fashion. I think that the difference, the discernment is that when you are actually feeling the information within you and within your heart and within your heart mind is when I believe you is the true knowing of there is no question at that point because then there's just knowing. So therefore there is no need to question whether or not it's coming from the mind because you just know it isn't. It's from the heart space. It's from the place that is connected to source because you can feel it in the emotions, and therefore often when many of us are receiving channeled messages, sometimes it's not even in words because there are just no words because there's just simply the feeling of the love behind it that you can simply just cannot put into words that we don't have the we just don't have a big enough dictionary.
Mm, yeah, very good. Thank you for that. Stephen, would you like to go next?
Sure. But I don't think I can translate yet in English. If
No,
anybody,
no, no. You don't have to trans. See, and I'll tell you what I'm trying to do here. I think because we are apprehensive many times about the translation part, you can give your own explanation. It doesn't have to be the translation.
Okay.
Because what I'm looking to do is try and emerge and blur that line between the two. This is why I'm choosing now to do it this way, so that eventually we start doing the channel and the translation. So if we start inputting our own thoughts after what we said, um, what I see happening is that it will start to merge where the thoughts of what was spoken and your own thoughts merge, and then it just becomes one.
I,
That's what
I completely understand. Thank you. Thank you for
okay.
that explanation. All right. Yasa inukasni haha. Kota hinahu ahansigingana. Koasa katata turinikastatina. Anakasa sukursani hasinura tukumoka. Notasana hiyaha sunrua haha sunwa. Nikatina kashtuku haftaksatruna katurumaka. Yanatish tatan yano hasana hawa katukua. Yasquati shatan yashana kasa. Ankatatia ukuwasuka. Tadisha katuaka. Yakatusha. The heart is your intuition. It will lead you, always lead you in the right path. Choose love. Choose unlimited, unconditional. Choose yourself to be yourself and one with all who are here to transform and transmute and to ascend this species. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Stephen.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you.
Luckily, he can't translate.
Why?
Very
Why?
good job.
Huh?
It's a joke.
Well,
It's a joke.
oh,
It's a joke.
Very
Yeah,
good.
translated it very well.
Yes, he did.
I thought you heard him say something that couldn't be repeated on air. That's why I was like,
Oh
lucky
no,
you
no,
can't translate.
no. I was sort of being sarcastic.
Yeah. Oh, I
You did a
get you.
beautiful job
Yeah. I
translating.
get it now. Yeah. Yeah, you did. You did, Stephen. Gotcha.
One day I'll be able. That'd be cool. I'd love to translate it word for word. I'll get there. I'll get there.
You may have too without even
You
knowing
did.
it. You may.
You
Yeah.
actually did, Stephen.
I was just going to say, what do you mean you'll get there? You just got there.
That's what I said. Luckily, he can't translate.
Yeah,
Okay.
but your ideas flowed directly after what you said, and it sounded like the same thing.
Yeah. And even if you didn't say word per word, you got the essence of what was being said.
Essence.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sabrina. Essence.
Perfectly
The word I was looking for. Essence.
Thank you. Yes, I feel that too.
Yes, the essence.
Trust me.
And
Okay. Z?
I'm here. Kirtan Krishna. Yeah, Torosh. Yeah. 你去跳脱我爱要脱下，爱看不脱，好脱。When you breathe, you need to concentrate on your heart chakra. You completely turn off your brain. When something comes from your brain, that means your heart is not speaking. Just give attention to your voice. Just feel it. Just breathe. The words will come from your head, not from your mind. So you will know the difference. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Sarah?
I'm here. Sasai Shadayata. Sakasha. San Nagsa. Hanai Sadaya. Kushaniyadai. Saidayatusha. Minyan Sadaya. Understanding what the heart is saying as opposed to the mind. It all comes down to the frequency of the sound and the heart together. When a word is spoken, if the word does not match the tone and the frequency you wish to convey, the frequency of your heart will speak to yourself and to the person you're speaking to. Words in this manner are unimportant. It is what the heart connects to in the next person that is what is important. The hearts speak to each other. The hearts speaks to the minds as well. And in that instance, everything is understood and one listens. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. That was beautiful.
Thank you, Sarah.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Very good.
Hyan?
Uhuaha, tia, tushkutua tashkata. Skihia, tuku, tutua, ta, hauku, asiki, skikiata, kuku, tuhuata. Tantria, tuku, kukurua, tiria, tashkara, tukuara, tiara, tuaha, tishkikikia, taranan, tukuata. Tihia, tashka. The words are few, they are easy, and without thought. And I today, for instance, I haven't slept in 2 days. I have been up all night, and I usually feel in this state when I'm overtired. My brain shuts down, and the wall comes down as well. So that's a pretty good permission slip. When I'm in this state, everything I just say, I can't lie in this state. I only speak the truth. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Hannah.
you.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Hyan.
I like that, without thought. That really kind of says it all.
Thank you.
So does that mean if I ask you a question now,
Yeah.
you couldn't lie
This
to
is my
me?
command.
This is truth or dare game.
Yeah, it's like I'm taking a truth serum. So
Okay,
be gentle with your question, please.
okay. So when was the last time you saw an ET?
Today.
Ooh. Nice.
Yeah.
And he didn't even think about it. Notice that.
There you go. No thought.
I looked in the mirror. I was like, hey, how are you doing over there?
Good one, Hayan.
And what did he say? If he
I
answered
was like,
very true,
thank you for recognizing me. Brushing his teeth. Just looking at me.
Hayan, do you find him handsome than you?
He has a different look. Yeah. I like
Approach.
he has a very straightforward look. Okay, I told you no, be gentle with your questions.
we
You
are
just
being
poured.
gentle. We are being gentle.
Hey, you're lucky. That's all we're asking about is ETs, dude.
Yes. We
Alright.
didn't ask you personal questions. We could
Yeah.
have gone there, but we didn't. All right. We'll stop teasing you. But he must be the one standing right in front of the camera.
Yeah.
But actually, Hayan, in all truthfulness, that is one of the best ways to see the one of the many me's that are you, is to look in the mirror, because often you'll see a different one if you look for them.
Yeah, if you look real
every
close,
time, you know.
yeah, if you look real closely with that intention.
Exactly. With that intention.
But
Because
even
often you just look at yourself quickly, you just look at your hair, look at this and that. But if you really look at yourself, then you will see someone else there responding with that look.
I don't
And
see
you
it in the
just
mirror.
scream, ah!
I don't see it in the mirror, but I do see it in pictures.
Oh, that's even really cool. Ooh.
You know that it looks like a completely different person.
Well, true, because it is, really. I mean, if you think about
Yeah.
it, it
But
really is.
even the face,
Like
like
you almost like it doesn't even belong to you.
exactly.
Like yeah, like it's like you're looking at somebody that just is not
It
you.
exactly. Like it's just it doesn't even look like me.
Yeah, it was just taken from another timeline.
I'm telling
I
you.
understand exactly what you mean, because sometimes I look in the mirror and there's somebody staring back at me
Yep.
that I don't quite. The eyes are different. There's something different there.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean.
It's because of your energy.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird too that you say that too, Sab, about pictures, because I've often wondered looking at pictures when I really like looked at it and kind of felt that same way, like, wow, that doesn't even look like me. Um, it's weird because
How did I pull off that pose?
Do that
That's not
GQ
me.
pose. Do the GQ pose. You know, the hand on the face.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah, that one.
That one. Do that one. But
But
yeah,
I
yes,
often,
actually, Wendy, and actually, I think I showed this picture to Ryan that I have, and my hair got like really curly, and I was like, "Where the heck is this
you're like,
coming
who
from?"
is that?
No, and now it's back to normal. But
Wow.
I was like, "What is going on?" I will find the picture. Actually, I just switched the pictures.
But sometimes I wonder though when I look at that now that we know what we know,
Exactly.
I really wonder if like I don't know, sometimes like I'll look at him and think like did I have like a walk-in? Like so you know what I mean? Like was somebody else there present in that photograph?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it really wasn't me.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah. Very much indeed.
Everything's
I mean, above and beyond the, yeah, we know we're going through billions of, multiple realities every, breath we take. I mean, above and beyond that idea, um, is that now we know that maybe somebody else was visiting the planet through us.
Yeah. Did
It's
I
not,
channel there?
I mean, it's not all that far fetched now that we know. I mean, and especially if everything's here and now, then who knows? Maybe, we were like, oh yeah, Lakesh, come on in. Let's go check this out. Let me take you on this trip with me.
Yeah. But the thing is that physically you you look slightly different. You
Right.
know, it's not a lot, but you do look different. And even when you look
Yeah.
at it, because even sometimes when um and and the funny thing is depends on who takes the picture.
Ah, true.
Um, which I have often found interesting.
Ooh, that brings up a whole new perspective then, because say if the perspective changes based upon who's taking the picture, then ooh, that could get really infinite.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? Because then, say, for example, the person who's taking the picture,
Is seeing a different version of me that I am.
Yeah. Thank you. That's where I was trying to go with that. I'm like, okay, how do I explain this? What I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, okay.
You know what I mean? Now now say the other person now is
Who
a
creates that picture? The one who takes the picture
yeah, the
creates.
one taking the picture now is in a whole new reality. Okay, yeah, this just gets even more multi-layered by the thought.
Yes.
Wow.
Exactly.
Going
Because
down
then,
the rabbit hole.
You
because
know what would really be cool?
what?
If you had 100 people line up and each had a camera and they all took your picture and see what the differences is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now what a project, Stephen. Oh my
That
God. Wouldn't that be weird? Talk about
that would be really
That
cool.
would be a wonderful project, Steve.
wow. I think you just stumbled onto something really fun.
Yeah. Because even sometimes, let's say a friend of mine takes a picture and I go, "What? I don't look like that."
You're like, that's not
And
even me.
and then I have another friend that takes a picture and I'm like, "Oh wow, that looks really good."
So wait a minute. Okay, so what if the person who's taking the picture, you're seeing the reflection of their version of you?
Right.
Yeah.
But also the thing to remember too is that each one of them people are all on a different frequency, on a different vibration. We all vibrate.
Yes.
So it depends on what vibration they vibrate at is what the version they will get back or reflect.
Yes, exactly. So they're
Wow.
taking a picture of a different version of you.
Yeah, because they see me differently.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this just gets really yeah, interesting.
Yes. That definitely is. Because even now that we're talking about that, when I was visiting with some friends, like when I take pictures of people, I don't have them pose for me. I
I don't either.
I I find the moment when I see there's something I see through their eyes, and that's at the moment that I take the picture. I don't know how else to explain it. And then a friend I was gonna take, and then they were telling me, no, I have to pose. I have to pose. I said, you don't need to pose for me. You will see that the picture I take of you, you will look beautiful.
Yes, very good. I actually,
And
my family gets mad at me because all my pictures are impromptu. None of them are posed because you're not getting the real person.
right, and and then one of her, it's very occupied with the physical, and she's like, no, 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 I have to pose. And yeah, I said, if you don't like it, you don't, I will get rid of the picture. So we were at the restaurant, we were all talking and stuff, and I caught that moment in turn, um, where she's being her true self, where you could see she was being genuine with herself at that moment,
Yes.
and she came out so beautiful. And
Can you do that on yourself?
yes, you can
Oh
do that
yes,
on
I think
yourself.
so.
Yeah,
To a point. I mean, I think you'd have to remove. I think you'd almost have to.
I think it's really hard.
You'd have to step aside and be the observer for just a minute. You'd have to just not
yeah,
pose and just put that intent in your mind of what is it that I'd like to convey, and then think it and take the picture, and
yeah,
not think about it,
yeah.
Yeah.
And,
So, Sabrina,
hmm?
I'd like to say something else about thought and heart, but are you going to, not to change your subject, but when we get around to it, are you going to also speak and
Yeah, but go ahead. I know.
Okay. Uh, I was trying to remember what I had heard about this from Eckhart Tolle, and he said that our thoughts are mostly external images of what they're roughly from the construct of who we think we are according to outside influences and the image that we've created for ourselves in the world and what people expect us to say and do and what we expect ourselves to say and do. And the heart is always true. And well, let me see how I can say that better. Um, our original heart is always connected to oneness and the universe he was sharing. So if we're living from our heart, there's no separation between ourselves and others, or we don't feel separated. I don't know if I'm explaining this well enough, but so can you understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when you experience oneness. You said you had an experience where you felt one with everything, right? In that moment, you were living completely from your heart, from your original heart. You're experiencing who you really are from your true heart. That's who you really are. And all the thoughts around that and after that are just artificial constructions.
So living within the oneness is living within the source self. The
Living
one
from,
the the
right.
the one within you that has the answers that you seek, but that at moments and times you feel that perhaps it's not the choice that you are seeking, but that is the mind having its say on the matter. But it is not necessarily what it is best for you. So
Yeah.
knowing when to listen to the mind or not, it is your choice. But
Yes, and like,
having that awareness of the heart and the guidance that the heart can give you, the guidance that the heart has within itself,
hmm
and the feelings that come about through the body as the thought shows itself within you that tells you this feels good, though hard it might be. At the end, there will be peace within me. And you feel your cells, the cells in your body, relax as that thought comes over your body and speaks to you. This kind of thought is the one that you know that is coming from your heart. For there is a peace of knowingness that overwhelms you despite the challenges that might come about from the choice, from the thought, from bringing that about into reality. So, challenges as there might be due to what you are thinking, it's not to be put aside, but knowing that you as a being, that you as the one from the one, can make this choice and bring you that you are seeking, which is becoming one with the self. This is when you know that you have made a choice from the heart. The mind often confuses and brings about many things, many choices. What if, what if, what if? The heart does not do that. The heart says this, and then you feel within your body the reaction that comes from the thought. As this awareness comes about, and you learn to work with your heart and less with the mind, allowing the mind to ease itself into its place. And know that the mind does have its place, for it seeks to protect you and bring about calmness within itself. But due to the many influences, the many things that are brought upon your reality, upon your world, from the different people from which you have seeked and been with, their thoughts come onto your mind and they start to blend, and it begins to confuse the mind, not knowing what choice to pick. What is the right thing to do? What do I do now? Allowing the mind to come down, allowing the mind to just be, to relax on it itself, and to just settle there. And then allow the heart to speak louder, its word to resonate within you. And the two start working together until they become a pair to be reckoned with. For the heart speaks and the mind does. When the two merge, you will find yourself united as one. You are you, and you will always be you. You and the heart, the soul, the higher self, working as one, bringing about what it is that you wish to bring at that moment. But always knowing that the heart knows what it is that you wish. Allow yourself that space. Allow that quiet to happen within the mind so that the heart can speak. And it does speak, sometimes louder than others, but it does speak. So let this be a moment of peace. For thinking, making choices does not necessarily mean chaos in the mind, but allow that space between the thoughts, where there is quiet and peace. Settle there and let the thoughts pass by. Let it pass by. No decision has to be made in the moment. Simply be. Be the space. Be that space. Become the space between the thoughts. That's where your answers are. And you shall soon see the brilliance within you. For you are creatures of love, creatures of peace, regardless of what you see outside of you. That is within you. You all contain this. He has never been taken away from you. You have just turned away from it. But all of this, it's in there. It is simply a matter of turning back to it, turn the hands back in that direction. So keep this in mind when you have a thought, when you are making a decision, when you find yourself in a conundrum. Sometimes standing still is the best choice, which it allows discernment within the self. And then you will see clarity happen at that moment, where all the dust will settle. All of that cloud will come down. It cannot be held there when you are standing still. It simply falls to the ground, and you will see the clarity. You will see the choice, whatever that may be, in that moment. And remember, a good choice is not always an easy choice, but it is the choice. So keep all of these things within range and settled. Settle the mind within, and you will find that peace that you seek. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste.
If you namaste.
That was lovely. Namaste.
Oh, kiddo. It had been.
That was,
Go ahead.
oh, it was a beautiful channel message. Beautiful.
Yes, beautiful.
It was hanging around for a while already.
Mm.
And
Yep.
then,
They know when it's time.
yeah. And then Saphira brought it back, and bam, it jumped in.
Like wow, Bam. That was like, whoo. Yeah, it's amazing.
Hey, Roey, did you want to jump in and say something?
Something? Better than nothing.
Okay, so what we were talking about, I'm still a bit, ooh. Oh, discernment. Can somebody tell him, please?
Discerning.
Yes, it was. Oh, go ahead.
Go
Go ahead,
ahead.
Wendy. No, it's okay. You go ahead.
Just the discernment of when you're receiving information or a message and whether or not it's coming from your mind, your thinking mind, or your heart mind, and how to tell the difference. How do you tell the difference?
Roy, are you there?
Hello?
Mhm. Did you hear what Wendy shared?
Yes.
Okay.
Was that directed at me or?
Well,
Yes.
that was the topic of today's conversation.
Oh,
Just
Yeah.
was wondering if you would like to share
So
how you differentiate,
oh wow. Okay.
if you choose, if you want to just let them
yeah,
know.
so we did it in the language and then we did it in English.
I see. I get you. Okay. Let me think on that one. Or let me feel on that one. May I say?
Okay. Okay. Jasmina, can you talk? Maybe she's not there.
Well, and I'm not sure if anybody else experiences this, and I know I've shared this before, but one of my biggest ways of discerning is the emotion, the heavy, heavy wave of emotion that comes through for me. Um, a lot of, and you can feel it inside your heart space, inside your solar plexus. It's like that. That's how I know. It's like when they're there and you can feel it, and it's like the most beautiful feeling you've ever felt, and you just are weeping because the beauty of the feeling. That is a huge discernment for me, because then I know for sure they're there, the energy's there, and
Yeah, I totally
that is
agree.
how I can tell almost always the difference between which one they are as well. It's almost like you're feeling their energetic signature.
Oh, so you're talking in terms of the entities themselves.
Well, and not just the entities, but the messages often too that are coming in
Oh,
are.
right.
It's not just always necessarily an entity with a name, but it's the message behind it. And then when you feel it, it's almost like it's bubbling up within inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Yeah.
feeling your essence.
Yeah, you're feeling the essence of the message. And so it's not always words, it's just this feeling that you get yet. And this well, for me, and it's just this overwhelming wave of emotion, um, that I can't even describe actually. And sometimes it's really, pretty overpowering, and almost like I don't know how to hold that kind of energy. It's so beautiful and big.
Yeah.
Uh, you know what I mean? Like it's so
Yep.
big I can't hold it. And
I know
you know,
what you mean.
yeah, that feeling of where you just want to just cry because it's just so gorgeous and beautiful, and then you realize that that ecstasy that you're feeling when you're touching raw source energy, there's just nothing else that can ever compare to that.
May I respond?
Please.
I know I've come in a bit late here, but I can get the idea of what you're talking about and how you're talking about it. For me, it's quite polar opposite. For me, I lose the emotion.
Mm,
I become very neutral, let's
interesting.
say, to it. So I know when I'm connecting, when I get in that space,
Ah,
and then I'm ready for it to come through. Otherwise, if I let too much of my emotion or too much of what's going on in my life through it or into it, then that's me being the filter, and then there's bits of me coming through, rather than letting what I want to, well, rather than stepping aside in a way and then just letting it just flow, you know?
right.
Just my own personal experience.
Yeah. No, I think before we were talking more in terms of when your thoughts come about for uh, anything in your life in general, a
Well,
decision you have to make or something like
okay.
that.
Right.
How
Okay.
do you know that it's not the mind babbling on and on and on, or if it's the heart speaking? Like, how do you make that distinction?
I don't. I just let whatever comes through come through to me. I don't like to make a distinction. I don't like to label it. I just say what I feel. If I feel there's a message coming through, I'd say it. If I need to communicate, I know who I'm communicating with, and I know what their response is like. It's different with the different people I'm talking to now. You can feel a different energy with them, and the response is different. That's the interesting thing. Is that on the same sort of parallels?
But you know that sometimes the mind, what the mind says to do is different than what the heart says to do. But figuring out who's doing the talking.
Yeah.
It feels to me like it's easy when it's your heart, and when it's your mind,
It's need many words when it's from your mind.
yeah, it's almost like there is no questioning, there's no fear, there's no hesitation, there's no, you know that thought came from true source, your heart. Because, well, like Bashar says too, if you get that emotion and it's telling you, and if it doesn't feel good, it's either because you believe something that doesn't match what your true inner being feels. So therefore, if it doesn't feel good, it's telling you that it doesn't match, what you really believe. So when it comes from your heart, you just sort of do it. You don't even question it. You just say it, do it. Like you said, like Rowie said, you don't even say anything. It just comes out. I mean, you don't think about it ahead.
Mm-hmm. And there's also the feeling that you were describing, Wendy. I understand what that comes from when it's, like a download or something. But there can also be like that, but in a milder way, in a more subtle way. And that's when it's hard to discernment, when it is that subtle. But there is, or at least for me, there is that space, that feeling that this is more than just thoughts. This is very clear. And it has some feeling attached to it when you realize something from the heart.
Yeah, it's almost like an unquestionable clarity.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Moment of clarity.
Yeah, it's just like you just know, you don't even need to question it. It just is.
Mm.
There's a simplicity to it, isn't there, as well?
Yeah,
The mind tries to reinforce its own belief systems by talking about them a lot, and rather than the heart just knows, it feels, it understands. So there's no need to reinforce when it comes through the heart. It's just a natural, like you said, a resonance of vibration, of like meets like.
That's a good point too. It doesn't need reinforcement. It doesn't need explanation. It doesn't require validation.
Bingo.
And I believe that your mind is bounded by limitations of your belief systems. Your heart is bounded by love, unconditional love for all and everything. It knows all and everything and has that connection to source.
How?
Exactly the difference. Yep.
It's like your higher self. It knows more. Sees more from the top of the mountain.
What Rowie said about finding that neutrality brought me to Sabrina's message about
taking a breath.
And the void, yes, and being in that place between the thoughts and between the breath and being in that void space of resonating with the void, and that place of momentary neutrality before that moment of exquisite clarity.
Yeah, because it's even when you know what the right answer is, and we still hesitate to do whatever it is. Because it's a hard choice. And
make it easy.
But the choice is only difficult because of the beliefs that we're trying to filter it through.
right, but it's difficult. Let's say, I'll give you an example. When my mother got sick, Dad, you have to sign the paper of do not resuscitate.
Right.
And that was a difficult choice. Now, in my heart, I knew what was best for her.
Mm-hmm. But again, the difficult choice is based upon the belief that death is bad.
No, not that death was bad. It was that she was leaving.
Or that she was leaving. Okay, right. Okay, yeah, exactly. Yeah. That her departure would be painful for you.
Right. And I was still very young.
Oh, I see. I didn't realize that. I thought you were referring to like a recent event.
No.
Okay.
I was in my 20s.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it was a very difficult choice. Now, in my heart, I knew what was best for her. Okay. And I did want her to go because of it, because she was in a lot of pain. But then, of course, the mind goes to, okay, what about this and what about that, and who's going to take care of this? How are you going to take care? So all of these things start coming into the mind.
Right.
Because regardless of you knowing what is best, there will be a lot of pain along the way.
Right.
So that's a difficult choice. So clarity sometimes gets muddled because of the thoughts that come about. So figuring out whether those thoughts actually have validity on the matter at hand, or allowing, okay, just do whatever the heart says.
Well, we've had so much indoctrination with thinking with the mind, making this decision on this, making a decision on that. It's a well-used muscle, and we, in some ways, we do make great decisions with our minds. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in this position today. But it's learning to use that heart muscle again in the proper way.
Right. It's learning to do that, but it doesn't. What my point is, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's an easy choice. You see what I'm saying? Because by my mother dying, I had to take care of my sister. So it wasn't an easy choice, but believe me, at her funeral, I was happy. And I know most people around me couldn't understand that.
Likewise for my father. I was happy he was not suffering anymore.
Right. But I also
Likewise.
knew there was, yeah, a
Very brave.
steep road ahead.
Yeah, yours was a very, very, yeah, very steep hill to climb.
Yeah.
But you see, you talked about getting a bit disordered by the thoughts, muffled by the thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the difference was because I was enlightened and you weren't at that point. But when I, because I've heard of Bashar and his way of seeing how death is and you don't actually die and stuff like that. So when my sister passed, I really felt that, and I could actually, now I can say that I felt her soul agreement from the two choices that we had, either do the operation or don't do the operation.
Mm-hmm.
We did the operation, but God or soul or all that is, or she, soul agreement, took the third choice that we never thought about, and that was for her to transit to the, and that was actually the best choice for everyone and for her. And I saw it so clearly, and when I saw it so clearly, I could tell my family that, and they was of course so busy with grief and stuff. But when I told them that, they totally understood what I said.
Yeah. Yeah, because it
From heart to
was, I mean, I had the awareness that the soul goes on. I had all of that. The thing is that, there were other circumstances there, particularly my sister, um, and me too, taking care of ourselves. Um, that made it a bit more difficult. And I think part of her not willing to let go was because of that.
Mm.
Until finally I told her, it's okay, we'll be fine.
And you're also talking about one of the most, let's say, difficult situations to learn whether to listen to your mind or to your heart.
Yeah.
Because when it's involving death, obviously the emotion, it's a family member. The emotion there is so great.
Yeah.
How you actually make these decisions and act on them doesn't always correlate. So sometimes you might be thinking one thing and then all of a sudden you do another. Heart takes over, I find sometimes in these matters.
Right, but
Example was I wasn't supposed to tell anybody about my dad dying to my dad's family. He was supposed to go through somebody else first, and automatically I phoned my uncle as soon as I found out, because he was someone I was close to, and I got in trouble for that from my family. They were like, "Oh, we were supposed to tell Auntie Jane first." And, sorry, shouldn't name names. And Grandma, they was the ones supposed to know first. Now Grandmother's found out through someone else, like from one of her sons instead. And that was just a heart reaction. It wasn't anything to do with thinking. It was just pure acting on. My mind was fried. I couldn't really do much with my mind anyway, let alone talk.
Mm.
right, but you were working from the heart at that moment.
Very much, yeah, very much so. Yeah, everything was that. Even though actually when he passed, though, I didn't believe in any afterlife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought that was it. And that was the time of actual where I burnt a lot of my old beliefs. And um, about 6 months later, I was a completely different person in a way with my beliefs and what I held true to me. I still had a lot of my old, let's say, Raelian beliefs that weren't serving me very well, so I got rid of them. I kept the ones that I really, really deeply felt about, that were close to me and resonated well. Um, yeah, so it was a bit of a tough time, but I mean, some of the actions that you do in these tough times just shows you how you're actually, where you're coming from, you know, whether you're coming from the heart or from the mind or a mix of both. Or
Yeah, because at those moments, it's when we need the most discernment.
yeah, another example is like one of the nurses was trying to make my father wear this mask to give him more oxygen or more whatever, you know, more gas or whatever he's having. And he was trying to push it off. He was trying to get it away. He wasn't comfortable. Consultant comes up and says, "Take that mask off now." And I'm like already trying to take it on. Nurse is making me keep it on, and I'm like, he's uncomfortable. He doesn't want it. Consultant comes up and says, "Take the mask off." You know, it's someone working from the heart. They understand. They feel. You know, the nurse is coming from the mind. She's going, "I've got to do this because it's my job. I've been told to do this." You know.
Yes.
Whereas the heart feels, the mind will
Well, and
just do what it's
that brings
told.
up too is when do you know when it's following your instincts and when it's out of anxiety. You know, asking yourself, am I acting out of my instincts or am I acting out of anxiety, and you know, pretending it's my instincts. You know,
Right.
but again, you can tell the difference because of how it makes you feel when you think about it, you know, about acting upon it or moving forward. Though I will have to say, like Hayan said, sometimes I'm finding, especially lately, a lot of times they are very, very subtle. And then when I think back on, okay, I had that thought, let's just call it yesterday, to do that thing, and I didn't do that thing. And now I'm thinking back on, oh yeah, I had that thought then, and I didn't act on it, and it was because there was no resistance, there was no, it just was a thought that came into my head, and it was an instinctive thing, and I just kind of let it go and didn't think about it again until the next day when I said, oh yeah, now I wish I would have done that thing when I did it at the time, because even though it was very subtle, the message was still there. So sometimes I think, too, the other side of all of this is often we overlook the subtlest of instinctive messages that the universe is giving us because we think that they're unimportant, or we think that it's just a you know, a random thought. Well, we now know there is no such thing.
Okay, and the question comes, how do you let go of that?
Right, and
May
that, I mean,
add something to it? Just a bit, at the moment, I think to myself, I should have done something else that I've decided to do. Then I remind myself again, okay, but I'm here, not there. So
yes.
this is my choice, and it kind of get easier with time, and you get really stubborn making choices. You will say, okay, this is, even though my instincts say otherwise, I will do this, but let this be my best choice from now on, and not turn back.
I think half of the like you just said, I think half of the agony we put ourselves through is always questioning whether or not we made the right choice, and instead of being in the choice and in with the choice and okay with it and loving it for what it is when it is, and we agonize over whether or not, so we're, you know what I mean, we're not even living in and being in that now because we're so caught up in the questioning and the mistrust of our actions, as opposed to just being okay with it.
Yeah, and rather than letting go, sometimes it's all about embracing it.
Right. Exactly, because we create our own inner anxiety by making the choice and then agonizing over whether or not we made the right choice.
Yeah, you can only experience it as a wrong choice if you think it was wrong, or if you believe it was wrong. So this is simple mechanism that I think it should be easy for us to turn this from inside, you know, like, okay, this is my discernment, this is my choice, and from now on I don't need to look back at this, you know, because this was my best choice, and I'll go with and act as if it was the best choice.
Exactly.
So you would treat it as if it was your best choice?
Yes, whatever it was, you know. I can now, if I just think I'm again, or that the similar choice comes again, I can choose differently. Yeah, but in my past, what can I really, you know, on choices that draw my life? What can I do about them? I can advise my past selves to change their approach, but that's all I can do about it. I'm not there. I'm here.
Mm, very good, Fanda. I would like to hear others. How do they let go? When you've made a decision and you're feeling that it wasn't the best decision, how do you let go and move on?
Well, I'm still working with that because my reaction this weekend to a person and his energy was to, I became very upset and lost my temper with this person. And it runs in my mind constantly how I could better, how I could have acted better in that situation. And that's what the mind does. It analyzes everything. And listening to this conversation is telling me that I should let that go, because my reaction, even though it was in temperament, it may have been the best reaction for me and for that person, so he can see exactly how his behavior causes others to become. There's a fine line, it seems. The person, his behavior it caused pain for everyone around him. And no matter how they spoke to this person, no matter what they said and how nice they were trying to be to this person, everything in his view was a reaction as if being attacked by another person, no matter what they said. And so we all put up with it for like a couple of days. And it just got to the point where he was complicating everything, whether it's travel arrangements, whether it's what we do in this point, in this point, in this point, where I just told him he needed to release all his anger and pain and rage, because it's clearly there. And he's the only person who doesn't see it. He's the only person who doesn't feel his energy because he is in the situation, while everyone else is looking at each other in a very uncomfortable manner, and they speak behind his back. It's like, what is wrong with this guy? and no one's speaking up to him. And so my reaction, as things became more manic and complicated, and my reaction was to just yell at him to release it. And his reaction to me in that case was, I don't need to change myself for you. And I respected it, and I left the room. However, in my mind is playing this scene over and over. And it's telling me I could have been calmer. It's telling me I could have actually said what was in my heart. But at that time, what was in my heart was to react. And was it the best choice? I think yes, because it forced him to see something. But for me, was it the best choice for me? And I think yes and no, because I took on that negative energy unto myself, and it took me a long time to release that energy. So in that case, what was truly the correct choice in the situation? I could have spoken to this person. I could have explained to him in a way that he could possibly understand. But that was not my choice in the moment.
Sarah, from everyone, everyone who was speaking with him as he was, externalizing all his pain and anger, was there anybody who recognized it, who just quietly could say, "Oh, you're in so much pain"? Just not from the mind, but where he felt understood, where he felt his pain was being.
What was that? I'm sorry, you're breaking up.
Oh, where he felt his pain was understood.
The idea of his pain was not understood. However, his behavior was causing pain to everyone around him.
Right, because probably he just needs someone to recognize his pain, not just intellectually. That could be one way to solve it, but when somebody's reacting like that all around or projecting their anger all around, people are being shot in the blood. People are receiving bullets to their spirits, and they not necessarily in the space to just calmly say to him, "Oh, you're in so much pain." Just that.
Exactly.
Recognize your pain. Usually, once the person their pain is feeling that they're recognized without being judged or put down for it or whatever else, then it takes a lot of wind out of their rage. But one has to be really centered in oneself and not put oneself personally, not take anything personally in that moment, because it's not meant personally, even though it feels like it is, in order to be that kind of have that kind of energy around somebody like that.
Yeah, well, he turns his energy on me, and that's when I lost my temper.
Yeah, sure. I know those kind of situations too, and I also get angry and I react. Like my daughter's boyfriend sometimes can behave in such a way that just triggers my anger, and then I just let him have it.
Exactly.
And then I always feel bad because I think, you know what, in that moment, I just took it personally, and if I was in a different space, then I could have just let it roll off my shoulder. So he's actually showing me my own pain, my own anger, which is a good thing, because then if I say, okay, I have anger, then I can deal with my own anger. And when he's angry, when he does what he does again with me, I'll react differently because I don't have a base to react to what he's doing anymore.
Right.
So
Well,
people
that's it. Sorry, I thought you finished.
No, it's okay. Well, people like that are useful in the sense that they show us where we're at, really.
Well, that's it. That's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, we allow ourselves to act in these ways and react in these ways to people's actions. We're actually allowing ourselves. We've got no one else to blame apart from ourselves.
Well, in that case, I didn't see blame. However,
Oh,
I
sorry, maybe
saw,
it's that word.
yeah, I saw a person in pain and in anger, and he did not recognize it for himself. He did not recognize the effect he had on the others around him. And everyone did everything to make him feel comfortable. Everyone did everything. Well, they just did not say anything to him. They tried to help him out as much as possible.
Was it like tippy-toeing around him, or was it...
Yes, it's like walking on eggshells
Hmm.
the entire time.
So Sarah, for you particularly.
Uh-huh.
So the thing probably for you is, how would you, if the situation presented itself again, in order for you to move on, right? How would you do things differently? That's what's going to allow you to move on. How would you do things differently next time? And it might be that you speak to him before you get angry. And it might be that,
yes,
and it might be that you don't tell him what to do. You tell him, you know, everybody's feeling this way, this way, this way, this way when they're around you. And let him come up with his own answers, because you can't tell him that.
that's true.
That's probably why he retaliated also, because he felt that you were telling him how to live his life.
Well, one, I wasn't telling him how to live his life.
I know, but I'm just telling you how he felt.
Yeah, I'm sure of that.
Yeah. So if you would have put it more in terms of questions and perhaps speak to him before it got to that point, you know, everybody's feeling uncomfortable around you for this and that and this behavior. You need to think about it, because we don't all want to feel this way.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just put that, instead of waiting until, like, you know, you can't hold it anymore, because then at that point, what you really meant to say might not come out because you're being reactionary now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you see the difference there?
Of course, of course. This is why I brought up the topic. Because in my brain is playing the situation over and over again and saying, you could have said this and you could have said that. You could have explained it this way. You could have explained it that way.
No, you got to let it go. You got to let go of the situation. It is done. Okay. Next time, how can I best deal with this? If the situation presents itself again, what is the best thing to do? That's what you need to come up with. And only you can come up with those answers.
But is that not the mind talking, Sabrina, rather than the heart? Because the heart will forgive. It's compassionate. It will just be like, okay, well, you were like this, and you know, and we love you, and we would rather like see the changes, you know, and be more harmonious. Is that just what you're saying, like a mind thing almost?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the mind is the one that's taking over, and is not allowing her to move on.
And there's another thing. I was in a situation where I reacted emotionally to at work to a situation, and I got in a lot of trouble for it. And because somebody had said something really rude, and their behavior was so cold and rude, and I couldn't believe it. And I just, you know, I went to the manager and I said, you know, I don't really like to be treated like this and that and this and that and blah, 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 blah. And then it was the wrong moment to say that to him because his boss was there, and I was sort of just expressing all my upsetness in sort of like a public situation. But I wasn't aware of that because I was just so hurt and upset, and I just reacted. So, of course, that had me thinking a long time too. Why did I do that? And blah blah blah. It was kind of similar to how you felt, Sarah, about why didn't you do things differently. And then I thought to myself, you know what? I was not centered. I was just not centered in that moment. Had I been centered, and what I mean by that is in my heart, you know, I'm there. This was a recovery center, and I was doing field work for addiction. And, you know, my attitude is basically, you know, wherever I go, if I'm other-centered and not me-centered, then, you know, I wouldn't react in that way, wouldn't take it personally, wouldn't get offended, blah, 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 blah. But in that moment, I was definitely not other-centered. I was totally me-centered, and I was offended. And I think, in my experience for myself, offense is when I'm totally centered on me. I'm much too me-centered at that time. And so if I would do a daily work of centering my heart with my intention to be outward focused and, you know, understand all the things I'm saying, internalize them in my heart, then I wouldn't be so reactive.
And even if you center yourself right before you spoke, you might have had a different outcome.
Exactly. That's what I mean. I'm just adding to what you said. I'm adding to what you said to think about how I would react differently to the practice of centering myself daily so that no matter what comes at me, I'm not too self-centered in my reaction.
Right, because if you think about, okay, what am I seeking with this? If you think about what is it that you're seeking at that moment, okay, I want to be treated differently. All right, so you set that in your mind, but then you look around at the circumstances of whether that is the best thing to do at that moment. You know, but when you have your intention, when you set your intention to what it is that you're looking for at that moment, oftentimes it gives you pause.
Yeah, that's good. It's intention.
Yes.
Of course, sometimes people come at us in a surprising way we don't expect. Do really crappy stuff, but But if I this daily practice, which my friend Alaric is always speaking about, the daily practice of internal peace. If you don't do the daily stuff, you know, you set yourself, you set yourself up for anybody who does anything. Set yourself up for reactions that you don't necessarily want to have for yourself. Like if I react and I get angry at somebody, I really dislike myself afterwards. I really feel so bad about myself, and that's the point.
I would like to add that anger isn't so bad.
Not necessarily.
But when it is bad is when you dwell in it and you stay within that. But the reaction of getting angry is very natural. So
it is. I hate to get angry. I hate to yell and scream at other people because I'm angry and it's not justified, perhaps.
Careful of hating your feelings, though. I mean, the anger is showing you the resistance. It's showing you the things. So don't hate it. Embrace it.
It's
See
showing
that, okay,
that
I needed that. I needed to see that. I needed to be shown that. Thank you. And if you come from that place, that's a very heart-centered place to come from, in my point of view.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
And I have also, for many years, been pushing down my anger until recently when I started to express it. And I learned to deal with it and learned the fact that it's not so harmful if you don't dwell upon it. And like Rose said, embrace it, embrace it. Oh, I feel angry. Bam, biff. Flip out for a couple of seconds and then let it go. Because when you embrace a feeling, it always changes. Any feeling. But when you want to still be mad, that's your mind wanting to see more faults or something. But
Mm.
you know, I could many times when I was younger, especially, I could fight with a friend, and then I would literally forget it, like 2 seconds after. And then he could see me the next day and be like, "Oh, hi, Hayan," be like super nice to me, and I was like, why is he being like that? And I had literally forgotten about it. I was always like that. I always forget about the fights. And but when it was actually happening, it wasn't so. I let myself be angry, and I swore, and I did everything. And I think that's very natural.
I have a question. With the new of feeling everyone in the room, your empathic abilities.
Okay, just one thing. I just want to add also that um, because we started the thing with a question that I think could also be very fitting for this, especially with you, Sarah. Um, and you know how to let go if you did something bad. For me, of course, you all know the rubber band analogy, and the tricky part about that is to actually remember that when you are in a negative, down thing, when you're pulling that rubber band. But there's also another thing that I have found very helpful, and that is to realize that this isn't the first time that I've done something bad or wrong or less spiritual or whatever you want to call it. And it certainly won't be the last time either. I will be doing this many times, and I will be feeling this many times more. And when I realize that, I accept. It's becomes very easy to accept that I did that.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Nice perspective there.
Well,
Very
something interesting too, Sarah, that came to my mind about the whole group when you mentioned about tiptoeing around his behavior. A couple of things came to my mind, and one is that by everybody tiptoeing around him, they're one not showing unconditional love to him because they're saying you need to be different to make us feel better, first of all, and that to show him that his behavior really has no effect upon their vibration. And his anger also, yes, is a sign that he was in some form of pain.
Yes, but like recently I've been very sensitive to the frequencies and emotions around me. And it wasn't just emotional pain that I felt from everybody and himself. It's as if I felt as if the air itself was a bit slimy. Like as if I was rolling around in oil. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The only reaction I could have had at that moment was to explode. What do you think?
I don't
I
know.
think
It was
it's
the
time
only reaction.
for party.
What did you say, Z?
I think it's time for party.
It's time for a party?
Yes.
Party for everybody, dance. Come on and dance.
Hi, Gabe.
That this person.
Don't focus on
Oops, I forgot.
don't focus on the past. Focus what
Yeah,
you
I'm
are
just trying to
now.
release that energy. It was still with me. That's all. I'm sorry, everyone.
It's okay, Sarah.
That's all right.
It's okay. I mean, we have to do shadow work.
Yeah.
We have to.
Yes, baby, yes. Just release it. Just pour on us. Just release it.
Yeah,
Sarah.
I feel very grounded and balanced, and I haven't slept so good in 2 days. And last night I just
You wanna
balanced my
lose
head.
weight, baby.
I didn't sleep. I haven't slept for 24 hours.
Go to
Well,
bed
you
right
and
now.
Hayan hasn't slept for 3 days either. What's going on?
Wow, dude.
They're in love. Oh my god. He left.
Well, they put it
Oh
in the
no!
chemtrails
Oh
from Sweden.
no!
Yeah, it's like I'm becoming my dream world here.
Oh,
That's a
interesting.
good
Gabriel.
statement.
Waking up.
But that's
Very
why.
profound.
But isn't that why you were given the orb so that you would stay in 3D a little longer? Gabriel.
Ask me. Ask me.
Okay,
I
what
don't
is
feel
my
grounded even though they give me for grounding.
what is
I should put my feet in the ground to feel.
Sinaida? Tell me my future, please.
I'll tell you, baby. After 5 minutes, you're gonna go and close your eyes, and I will tell you a fairy tale story. If you want to.
Isn't Caitlin best on that? Fairy story.
Once upon a time, there was a little Swedish boy.
No, not your radio voice, Rowan.
And he met a Swedish girl. She loved tales.
Tails? You mean
From Sonic.
tails?
Yeah, sorry, I'm playing with Gabriel.
Tails like hanging or tails like stories?
Tails as in a cat's tail.
Haha.
But the pun was intended.
Uh-huh.
Good night, everyone. See you
Good night, Gabriel. Sleep well.
Good night, Gabriel.
Bye, baby.
Bye.
Can you tell me the lottery numbers for this week, please?
Yes, yes, Gabriel. Can I have the lottery numbers too?
35666.
Oh, goodness.
If that
That's it?
means nothing.
You need 2 more.
666 is good.
And then 88.
All right, time to take it off live. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I think we had
Wait, I need mega number.
an excellent discussion today. I think we did really good, and I think everybody ended up translating, which I love. Yes.
Thank you.
Anyways, so thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.